how are you guys doing today? I hope amazing. So, the plan for the day is we're going to review MindArk's Q2 financial reports, look at some of their other data, we'll look at some of the player demographic data for the game, and overall, we're going to get an overview of how well MindArk is doing, if they're making money at this point, um, the basics of, hey, how is the state of the game? And so, real quick, because we have listed that I am streaming Entropia Universe, I'm going to get us running the daily. I'll show you the daily mission right here. It's a craft daily mission. Obviously, I'm on planet Toulon at Guardian Village. And there's a, hey, we'll reward you with we're not on this first reward. We're at the 70 pack in machinery for crafting 1,000 items. And so I'm going to show you where to get the mission real quick. And then we're going to dive directly into the reports. I will list in the chat all the report links and stuff like that so that if you want to look over them yourself, you can. So you pick up this mission from Nadira. Nadira is right here. You're going to have to do the Nadira Apprentice 1, which is the texture one that you saw. And then after that, you can use any blueprint that you feel like using. So real quick, I'm going to head over to the craft machine. We're going to set this up to run 1,000 clicky clicks. We've got that there. Boom. I'm going to also get chat up, so if you guys have questions, you can ask them. I will also be going over my basic opinion of what MindArk could be doing to improve their game. And by the way, I actually think that there's a lot that they need to be doing to improve the overall state of things on behalf of the player base, on behalf of themselves, and on behalf of the game. So I've got chat up. You're welcome to ask questions. Be aware we will be looking at a lot of different stuff today. And overall, I hope you're having a great day. Let me get positioned. Got a nice thing of lemon water here. That's always important. We'll get this clicky click going. I'm going to, of course, be doing the projectile 1, which is cheap as heck. And so that's the basis of that. I'm going to also click down to where we don't have a bunch of sound coming through from the gameplay. You know what I mean? And so let's click all this sound stuff down for a second. I'll click it back up later if we need it. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I don't believe we need to hear my crafting in the background while we're playing through going over stats. So, right off the bat, we've got that going. I will show you guys the stats at the end if we're finished with it. If not, we'll visit a little bit while we do finish it out. I would assume what we're doing today is going to take the full of this run, but I'm not fully, 1,000,000% on that. So let's get into this. Let me click down this game. I will go back and forth between the game and what we're doing if you guys are just wondering. We've got that. I've got it where we can see stuff. Right off the bat, we're going to go in here and I'm going to go to MMO populations. MMO populations is a service that basically tracks stats on games and stuff like that. We'll be able to review through. Here is the link in case you guys want to look at that on your own. We'll talk about the basic stuff. So, overall rank for its category, it's 98th out of 104 for tracked MMOs. Now, that's just this specific services ranking, and each one of these services ranks things individually. Let me get my face out of the way so that you guys can actually see exactly what's going on today. And I'll pop my face back in later. So total player base for the game is 114K. Now here's the problem, and I'm going to let you know this is an inaccurate number right here. The daily is not actually currently 1378. I'll show you based on other services that they actually don't list it as having that many. and then I'll talk to you guys about what I believe is one of the problems with the game. So obviously, out of the total player base, their daily players is slightly less, or about 1%. It's about 1% area. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit over 1% of the people that actually have accounts are playing the game on a daily basis. This is the total population tracked on a daily, and as you can see, 2004 as the ninth. It's back up a little bit from, ebbs and flows. Over the year, they did have some pretty big valleys in here. I don't know exactly what to tell you these peaks were about, but as you can see, this 1K zone right here, they don't get out of the Ks. Like they're at 1K, 200, 1K, maybe 1500 is a peak for them having players in. And in all honesty, that's kind of not where you want to be at such a low amount. Now here's their yearly population. If you look over the year, they're currently setting at a reasonable high for themselves. This 1,500 players, I don't really believe is accurate myself, and that's just myself. And I'll show you the other service that definitely has them at a lower rating. And by the way, these are their estimates. The other service is going to give it a social score and stuff like that. Basically, this gives you a breakdown of the game. You guys already know that Entropia Universe is a sci-fi MMO set in outer space, in which I think most of us can agree that they've done a crap job on the space aspect of the game. So the next service that we're going to look at is right here, which is MMO Stats. Now, MMO Stats is going to give us a little bit more data. I'm going to copy that link real quick, provide that to you in case you guys want to use that. Let's look over MMO Stats data for the information. So as you can tell, their social score is pretty freaking low, guys. This was updated 4 months ago. Their social score is an estimation of the number of players based on social signals from Entropia Universe, such as social followers, posts, likes, retweets, YouTube subscriptions, Twitch viewers, and similar data. So the social score, as much as you would think like the amount of chatter on a game doesn't matter, it actually does. A really healthy game has a lot of people talking about it in a positive way, has a lot of people posting stuff on social media. For the most part, Entropia Universe has a super weak social game. Even their company, and this is something we'll probably discuss or should discuss later on, I hope I get back to it, is, as you can tell, they're not super active on social media. And the company itself doesn't have a good ground game social media-wise. Now, I get that that's not the biggest deal to some of you guys, but social media is how a lot of people find out about certain games. And if you have a weak social media game, you have a lower new player base. New player base is important. It helps a game continue to grow. It helps a game to continue to gain popularity. And in all honesty, it's one of the cheapest forms of marketing you can have is player-based excitement about a game. So obviously you can see that their estimation for daily players is 840, which is much lower than the 1,000 something stat that was done before. Let's look at this. This is also based on an estimate and not direct information. And so let's just be honest. That doesn't actually help as much as having a real, hey, these are the numbers. Just going to be honest. Here's the estimate. Of course, they have it listed as over 101,000 actual accounts, which literally puts this at less than 1% of players playing that have active accounts. I'm going to be honest, to me, that doesn't seem like a great thing going on. That actually seems like they're in trouble a little bit. They need to be able to figure out how to reinvigorate the player base, in my opinion. And that's an opinion at this point. If you guys have a different opinion, make sure you mention it. Feel free to tell me, hey, blah, 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 I think you're wrong. I'm going to let you know. Here's where I see the biggest concern, and I'm not trying to be mean. If you look through this, here was their estimated. You can see that the estimations are about 1,400 zones capping, 1,500 cap, which honestly the other one had a cap at 1,500 also. And so they never get over the 1,500 daily players in a single month, which is kind of crazy. As you can tell, though, I don't know what happened this last section here, but we went from having over 1,000 players consistently through here to dropping down into the 800 range here, spiking here in November at 1,000 again, and then dropping back down. Now, I'm going to be honest, the percentage, and let's pull this percentage from July to now. We have 945 divided by 1,300, right? Puts us at 72.69%. So a little, that's kind of a not good thing. Hold on one second. Okay, so Zeke Saucer is letting me know, if you look at Entropia Live, there are 3,180 ranked avatars with recent globals. And I believe that could be true, because we don't have the time line at all. To be honest, that absolutely could be true. This is just saying daily players. And so, in all honesty, let me look over the land deeds just paid out. So okay, so the Calypso land deeds I have heard have paid out a little bit lower than they normally do, and I could look at my stuff and see what I'm getting paid. I haven't. Let's pull up that real quick, because I have financial stuff in here. I have some Entropia financials, and so it's not going to hurt us to pull this. Let's go to the exchange, Entropia Exchange. I have 43. Let's look at these real quick, and let's look at the graph of the value. So the overall graph in value is trending down, you guys. That's a downward trend for Calypso land deeds. And in all honesty, doesn't shock me a lot. I mean, that's not a massive go down, but let's just be honest, this is a downward trend. If we were to take these peaks and stuff like that, that's not good. Now, this is a nice little hop up. I'm going to guess that this is that month area where they had 1,500 players playing. Let's look at some of these other financials real quick, right? That might be a good idea. Let me click off this one. You guys want to look at what one do we think is valid? Let's look at the Arcadia Underground deed real quick. Holy crap, is that a mess. Okay. Markup trend, sells trend. So they're selling, but the markup on a Calypso, on a Underground deed is down also. Let's check them all out. Ancient Greece, I'm going to not be shocked, is down. Honestly, I don't think that Ancient Greece is performing. Oh, you know what? That's really not exactly the most useful thing. I mean, you got a parabola in here, but That's slightly higher than at the beginning of the year for sure, right? Oh, that's a month. Let's look at the year. Um, 9.26. It's slightly down. So we're slightly down on that. Oh, I agree. Zeke Saucer, you're totally correct. The Calypso land deeds per cost are the better performing financial instrument in this game. Let's look at Treasure Island. I have some of that. So let's go to the 1 year. See, look at this. These guys were doing super well back here at 8.59, and then we're right here at 7 point. That's a pretty significant loss in value, but that's not horrible. I mean, like, performance wise, by the way, you guys, the Calypso land deeds are the stronger performer. Oh, you believe AUDs are overvalued by at least 200%? So can I be honest? The Arcadia Underground deeds, I believe, are undervalued. Let's look at this. I've got this paid out. I've got two of these. Let's look at the graph on this. The price of these has collapsed totally. So what are we at right now? We're at price of 22. The price on this has dropped significantly. Of course, these only have been out like a month. And so maybe we'll go... Yeah, honestly, this is the easiest way to look at it, you guys. So if you guys bought Rocktopia deeds immediately when they came out, you've lost your butt. I'm going to just be honest. Now, they have paid out, obviously, because I have a little bit of money in there. I only have two of them. Because I bought them just to track what was going on. I obviously have Crystal Palace deeds because I have a shop on Crystal Palace. And in all honesty, price-wise, these all have been massacred. Let's look at this. We've got 10 pad. They're worth 10 pad now. At one point, they were worth 15 pad this year. So let's just be honest, that's absolutely not good right there. That's actually probably healthy, though, because their payout is not that good. Like I collect my money out of these at the same time. I have 25 of these deeds, and there's 2.25 ped here. I have 43 of these, and there's 25 ped here. So obviously, this is paying out vastly better than any of this other crap. If you just want to take it as a percentage of the payout per share, my Calypso land deeds are the only thing that aren't performing at massacre rate. I mean, they're slightly down, but at least they're paying out, right? So we're going to get into the actual direct financials, by the way, and that's going to give us a better understanding. Oh, I agree. I totally agree. I'm going to be honest. I think AUDs are not a good option if you own them. They don't perform well enough. And in all honesty, there's no foreseeable reason that all of a sudden they're going to start performing super well. And so I'm not going to tell people, you know, what you should do is you need to go in there and buy a bunch of AUDs. In fact, guys, overall, the returns on most of the financials within Entropia Universe aren't impressive. Now, this player-based situation, it also bugs me. I have some comments on that, and we'll deal with that later on. I believe that they're doing a crappy job overall on their player base. So let's be honest, before we get into MindArk's official stuff, let's look at some of the outdated stuff from Yahoo Finance. I'll link the Yahoo Finance report over here. I'm going to share it with you guys real quick. Let's see, they only perform well when they have a big smuggler event in the underground. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember the last time they had a super good smuggler event. So obviously their stock is down. It's down 10% in today, which is kind of crazy. Is that aggregately? No. So this is their closing 10% down. That was literally the other day. Let's look at them over the year. That's the more reasonable way to do it. Or you guys want to look at it over the entirety of their existence, because that might be the other way to do it. So we're looking at their stock significantly beat down, especially from this high right here, right? Everybody agree, month 2 of 2024, they were closing at 3.87. We're now down to 2.02. Honestly, that's cut in half. I mean, that's cut by a third, right? That's a pretty significant loss, in my opinion. Not in my opinion. If you lose a third of your money, it's significant. From their all-time, and let's pull all-time, if you bought when they first came out, guys, you've been massacred. From an opening of 4 to a high of 8, like say 5.48, this looks like a massacre to me. You know what I mean? You're already down here. Now, here's the deal. They're up slightly from June. So that's a good thing. You know what I mean? This is obviously, not up enough. It's up. Actually, that's pretty impressive. If you bought in June, if you bought stock in June, you're doing pretty well. I'm not going to tell you should keep your stuff. And by the way, none of this is financial advice. I will let you guys know we're just reviewing it. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy shares in anything or sell shares in anything. All we're going to do is discuss the finances from I play this game and I want to know how things are going. So the PE ratio, right, which is it's very important to understand. PE ratio is how much money it basically takes you to buy $1 in earnings. And in all honesty, I don't know if this is accurate. They're listing the PE as 6.96. My headphone decided to click out on me. The earnings per share is 0.29. That seems kind of reasonable with the fact that the shares are beat down so much, to be honest. And if you're earning 29 cents per share at $2, almost $7 in stuff, that's probably $1. I would say that their PE is it could be in SEC, and I'm going to be honest, if it's in SEC, we could do a conversion and see what we think. I was hoping that because Yahoo was in, that they were doing in US dollars, but let's just be honest, this could be in SEC. If it is, the PE should be in dollars though, just to be honest, because a PE is usually literally and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you guys don't know, one of the best resources in the world, especially if you're not a stock guru or financial whiz, is Investopedia. Investopedia, and this is not a commercial, allows you to basically look up any kind of term that you want to know, right? And so, earnings per share or PE ratio defined. See? And this is we could watch a video on it and stuff like that. But basically, for the most part, the PE ratio is how much money you'd have to earn $1. And so, market value per share, earnings per share, determines the PE. And so if you don't have earnings, you're not going to have a positive PE ratio for the most part. And so let's hope that this continues on the trend of looking like they kind of might be making some money, just not very much money. Let's go into their statistics. So this is the enterprise value or over EBITDA, which EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Okay, and so all of those can affect it, just so you guys know. But it looks like we have a 220 on the EBITDA, enterprise value over EBITDA. Let's see if they give better data down here. We're down 28% on the 52-week range, which is all, honestly, we already knew that we were down almost 30% before we even looked at that, because we looked at the overall, hey, I could see the stock value had went down that much. And so they're significantly down. That has led to dilution of the shares. We already know that they've lost value. That's not anything confusing. And in all honesty, here's what really bugs me. And I'll show you this later on in the stuff. The percentage of the shares held by insiders is crazy. That's 73.24% held by insiders. And I will show you what that is in a little bit, because I'm going to let you know 30-something% of it is held by a single person. And in all honesty, I don't know why that bugs me so much. It does bug me. I don't want to pretend that it doesn't. Like, it's bothersome to me, just to be honest. We can look at the profile on this. Let's pull that real quick. Gives us our executive officers and stuff like that. This guy's getting paid $1.94 million. I kind of don't know if that's if that's in SEK or if that's in dollars. If it's in SEK, it's not that big of a deal. If he's being paid that much in dollars, let's just be honest, holy crap. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I don't believe that their chief executive officer is a $1.94 million chief executive officer. And in all honesty, that's literally, it sounds a little bit excessive. Just, honestly, it just sounds excessive to me. Total revenue, here's where we'll get it. Gross profit. We've got, is this in SEK? I wish they would tell us. Currency is in SEK, guys. I didn't see that on the profile, though. Did you guys? Currency is in SEK. So this is in SEK. You guys think we should probably get a conversion of SEK to dollars, right? Hey, how you doing? I hope you're having a great one. So he's being paid about 189, so about a $200,000 is what he's getting paid. I feel that that's not absolutely crazy. I'm gonna just be honest. $200,000 for a chief executive officer is not crazy. You guys agree there? So let's go back to the financials based on this. By the way, we're going to look at their specific financials too, because that's going to be important. That's tax effect on unusual items. Tax rate. Their tax rate, that's a low tax rate, to be honest. I don't know if that's the applicable tax rate. That doesn't sound reasonable. I don't believe that I'm understanding that properly. Let's go like this. Click this. We're going to go back to here. And we're going to have them define this out for us. They don't have a a definition term for that. So we'll click back here just in case we need to use it again. I couldn't tell you exactly what this is, if this is the applicable tax or, like the actual impact. This seems super low if that's a tax rate. I don't know if you guys agree, but that doesn't sound like a realistic tax rate to me. So on EBITDA, this is their earnings before interest and taxes. They made 14 million in SEK, almost 15 million in SEK. With their EBITDA before depreciation and amortization, they were at, which in all honesty, you would think that they would have flipped this. They were at 30 million, so they obviously had a whole bunch of depreciation of some kind. I don't know what all it was. That's great. Let's look over this. Net income from continued operations was 9 million. Oh no, that's 9,062 in SEK. That seems like a pissant amount, to be honest. So they didn't actually kill it. See what the analysis is on this. Okay, earnings per share. They beat their estimate in quarter 4. They missed their estimate in quarter 1. And Q2, which, by the way, we're going to look at the Q2 report today. And we're going to know exactly where they're at. And so these guys are going to be behind where we're at, just so you guys know. So let's go in. Let's check my thing real quick. See where we're at on that. That looks like we're good here. It's clicking away. And then we're going to go in and we're going to go into MindArk's official stuff. And then we'll probably discuss. I think that they're doing a bunch of stuff wrong, just in case you guys know. I don't think everything they're doing is wrong. But let's just be honest. I kind of am annoyed at some of it. So MindArk developer operates markets Entropia Universe, a massive virtual metaverse with a unique integrated economic system. We already know that. The thing is, every game in the world now has microtransactions. Oh, no, I do not own shares in Entropia Universe or MindArk. And guys, I am not attempting to buy shares in Entropia Universe or MindArk. I like playing the game. I enjoy it. When I invest in stocks, I invest to make money. And so, really, in all honesty, I have a whole lot of shares in Glad and Gain and a bunch of other stuff. Right now, their stock is held too much by a single individual. And in all honesty, I don't believe that they're actually doing a good job running the game. I will tell you, from what I looked, their financials have improved since our last report. And they're doing a better job. But I absolutely, as an investment, it's not one I would take because, can I tell you the truth? For the most part, I can get 7 to 8% dividends on a stock that is gaining positive. And so not only do I get a return in the value of the stock, but I'm earning usually at least 7 or more % in just dividend payouts per year. And so for me to sit there and put my money into something that's not going to earn me as much money is not ever going to happen. I mean, like, there's a couple things that I put money into that aren't like, this is making a ton of money, but I believe in the technology or something like that, or they're doing something aspirational to a level that's a little higher than a video game. And so I'm not talking crap about it. If you want to invest in it, that's great. My biggest concern is the amount of the shares being held by insiders, the 70-something plus %. And then when we get into the actual base of the stuff, the amount that's being held by a single individual is over 30-something % of the actual ownership of the company is owned by a single person. And I don't like that either. And then on top of that, their returns on equity and their actual positive traction is bad. Like they're not offering high enough returns. It's not beat down enough to where it's like a bargain buy. And in all honesty, until they decide to run the company better, I'm not impressed. And I'm legitimately, I'm very unimpressed with how they run the company. But we'll get into that and I'll show you with actual data what I'm meaning. So since 1990, we at MindArk have been working hard to make sure there is a planet out there for everyone. Can I be honest? The planets feel more and more generic than ever at this point. And I'm not trying to be mean, but the planets aren't actually unique enough. And in all honesty, some of the planets feel they don't have enough activity on them to be just straight up honest. And it bugs the crap out of me that Monria is as far away from Calypso as a planet would be, and it doesn't feel like a moon. They actually need to make it more like a moon, like Arcadia's moon, where it's actually a moon in orbit. That bugs the crap out of me. That's not a big deal, I'm going to just be honest, but it does bug me. So, in 2021, MandArk started to work on the next generation Entropia Universe experience based on the state-of-art graphics engine Unreal 5. Can I be honest with you guys? The fact that they haven't switched over to Unreal 5, and let me link this so you guys can access this, is it bugs the crap out of me. Like, let's just be honest. Do you guys feel that they should still be working to get it over to Unreal 5? So let's ask AI how long a game should take to convert over to Unreal 5. Let's ask AI. That's the easiest way to do it, right? Okay, so a whole bunch of... They don't have a large team, so that's likely going to be one of the reasons. Okay, so if it's even a larger game complex, a large complex game, up to a year or more. So let's just be honest. Do you guys feel that they're working on it as fast as they need to? You know, their player base is my issue. Like, but the real idea is that it's took them longer than it should be. And I'm gonna be honest, like, that bugs me. I don't understand what's taking so long, and I don't feel it's reasonable. I actually think that at this point, um, they should explain why that they've took vastly longer. We're now at 3 years. We're at 3 years to convert a game over to a different engine. So my confusion on it is, how is it taking them 3 years to convert a game over to a new engine? That makes no sense to me. It's okay. Like, the CEO stepping down could have slowed it down a little bit, but not that long. Like, at this point, they should actually... So here's the deal. Even if there's reasons, and there could be logical reasons, right? Communication is everything. They need to communicate and have that conversation. In all honesty, can I tell you that it bugs the crap out of me that the Entropia Universe people don't do sit-down lives at least once a month in which they should stream themselves? No, and I get that some of it's not cheap, some of it's this, some of it's that. They don't have a giant staff. I get that their staff is super small, you guys. So there are reasons, right? But we shouldn't be sitting here guessing the reasons. They should communicate the reasons. All it would have took them is to say, you know what, this is important to us. Communicating with our player base is important to us. We're going to sit there and we're going to make sure to have a, what they call it, a fireside chat once a month, once every 2 months. And literally talk to us. Decide to have some kind of open communication dialogue to where they are sitting there and telling us, look, we know we're behind. If they don't know they're behind at this point, I don't know what to tell them, but we all know they're behind. So why not just sit there and have a fireside chat and tell us, hey, look, we know we're behind. We'd like to actually have this conversation, and we'd like to keep engagement with our community, in which, honestly, if they were to just have fireside chats every little bit, the amount of great ideas that the people that play the game have is amazing. Like, they could really be improving themselves with just being willing to sit down and have the hard conversations. And I'm not saying that it's always going to be like a easy conversation, but they're definitely behind schedule. Let me read some of these and catch up. I believe that it could be money. And honestly, I don't know the Zune Henrik Gerak well enough to say if he's that word or not. I don't feel he's doing a great job. I don't actually feel they're doing a great job, you guys. And my biggest issue is their marketing to bring in new players sucks. And they're getting the active player base up. The percentage of active players with accounts should be improved. It would take them only a few minutes a month to assign somebody to be like their press person to sit down and do a stream. The amount of extra input that they could get would greatly enhance the game. And in all honesty, that kind of stuff is important, you guys. Oh, hold on. Let me read this. Leon Hawkeye. Okay. Socrates, how you doing today? So you guys need to do fireside chats to keep people on knowing where things are in the great scheme of things. Socrates, I'm glad you're here, by the way. I hope you guys are all having a great day. So my only concern is that there's no communication on where we're at in this process. And in all honesty, at first, here's the thing. I thought when they had streamers like Bonnie and stuff like that do the streams where they kind of showed the where it was going and stuff, I'll be honest, that was a super, super good choice. And that should have been kept on. So the fact that it went into kind of a black hole to where there's no updates on this, there's no active streams, pick a staff member that is going to do a once a month stream to where they're communicating directly with the player base. Now, I'm going to be honest about some of the other things that I think that need improved, but I will let you guys know on the financials, it does look a little better. The player base scares me, and I'd like to see that improve, but there's ways to improve it, and that's not the biggest thing. Now, I'm going to show you what we're going for right here. I'm going to copy the link, and I'm going to share it to you guys so that if you guys are wondering where I get this information. If you guys want to be able to pull this information for yourself, you'll be able to. It's super important. The one we're going to be looking at is the interim Q2 report for 2024. Obviously, you can pull it in Swedish version or English version. I'm going to copy paste this right here for you guys. This is going to be a little bit more positive than looking at the player base info. Player base wise, we're concerned. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'd like to see a better information on player base. And in all honesty, that is a failure of the marketing department. And in all honesty, a failure of the social media push. I don't know how to fix that exactly, but I kind of have an idea. I mean, I have ideas on that. And we'll get into that in a second. Let me click that because it was about to give me an alarm. So this is the summary of it. The turnover amount was 0.8 million SEK. We already know that from the conversion, you need about 1 point. So you move the decimal over, let's see, 1. So a SEK is like almost a tenth of a dollar. I mean, it's not exact, but let's just be honest. These are pretty comparable. We went from 1.9 or 1.8 million in dollars to that many SEK. So we're slightly off from about 10%, type thing. You move the decimal over almost. I don't want to have to pull up every one of these as a conversion, so we'll leave them. I wish they were also listed in dollars, just for the record. Yeah, that's what I'm going. It's about a 10 to 1. It's not exact, but for the points of this, I think you guys can work it out if you wanted to. The work in progress amounted to 5 million SEK. The operating profits, which by the way is super important because we actually see an operating profit, is 5.4 million SEK. I'm not sure what this figure is right here with the parentheses, so let's look at this. Oh, so last year there was a loss of 11.5 million SEK, so we went to a profit from a loss. That's a huge deal. We all know that the taxes ate them last year. So profit before tax amount is still 5.7 million SEK, and it was a negative 14.9 million SEK last year. The cash equivalents, including short-term investments, turns out to be 34.6 million SEK. That's good. There are no interest-bearing liabilities. That's super, super good. Oh, I agree. The YouTube videos and the amount of misinformation is a hindrance, you guys. Like that's an issue. So let's look at the rest of this. Turnover amount for January 2024. We're only caring about this current one. Let's be honest, this is kind of interesting over here, the January information, but I actually did a stream and already covered this report, so it's not the biggest thing. Operating profits, that's what we want to see, is there actually was one in quarter two of 5.4 million SEK, so about $540,000 that they actually made. So let's get into the significant events and stuff like that. During quarter two, in April of 2024, MindArk terminated the agreement with Pareto Securities AB. The liquidation guaranteed for MindArk sales. MindArk board of directors considered the service no longer necessary. Now, I don't have enough information to tell you anything about that. I don't know what went on with that. I can tell you that their subsidiaries, including the green subsidiary, are currently in liquidation. Okay, so let me read what Socrates said. Socrates, if you guys don't know, is one of the actual MindArk representatives. We already managed to achieve quite a lot in regards to the goal of the clubs. I don't know what the club goal was so far, so yes, I'm pretty happy with it. But it's a long term initiative, no short term mindset. Let's see. Personal. Oh, let me go back. So that's true. So no matter what game you play, some people put out iffy content, and some people just put out downright bad content just to be jerks in every game. I've seen bad videos on any game that you can have out there, and in all honesty, you don't have control over who can put out a video on your game. Outside of, and I'm going to get into this later on, how you do kind of get a control how much percent wise that is. And that's going to be an important thing. Like, in all honesty, guys, it is important kind of control the narrative of stuff. Guys, this is just a timeline. If you're interested in looking at this timeline, you're welcome to. I don't actually think that it gives us any in-depth understanding, but it does show that they're moving forward on stuff. Um, it shows when each planet was launched and stuff like that. It could be interesting to some of you. Can leave it up here if you want to look over it. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. Their current timeline over here, though, we'll read through just because that's important. MindArk reorganized to streamline operations and implement AI processes throughout the organization. Revenue passed 100 million SEK for the first time. Now, that's a big deal. And honestly, can I tell you that the AI part, I'm actually for. I think AI is very important to integrate. And so that's going to be something. I actually think the AI is where they're likely to do better. So this is what I was going to tell you about the affiliates. This is a super important thing. Can I tell you, I don't understand why there were affiliates or what was going on with this, but I do agree with them getting rid of these people. MindArk is the parent company of groups with three subsidiaries. Parent company of a group with three subsidiaries. USA AB, ARP Universe AB, and the Green Fund Financial Sweden AB. All of the companies are based in Gothenburg. No activities were carried out in the subsidiaries, and the companies are in liquidation. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what the crap they were doing messing around with this crap in the first place. So I'm glad that they've stopped activities, and I'm glad they're liquidating them. I think that they need to focus on what they're focusing on and focus on making the game as good as possible, especially while they're in profits. That's going to be important. So about MindArk. MindArk PEAB develops and operates Entropia Universe and Entropia Platform. Entropia Universe is a virtual universe consisting of several planets with different themes and activities, which together occupy a total land of 3,776 kilometers squared, which I didn't know. These planets are scattered in space, expanding over 6,144 kilometers cubed. Entropia Universe users can immerse themselves in multiple planetary experiences with social and economic interactions beyond what is possible in the real world. I agree to a point. I actually think they need to differentiate the planets a little bit better. And in all honesty, I think space is important, guys. Every planet should have a planetary defense force that has tactical combat missions on the other planets. I think that they need factions, and I think that there needs to be faction to faction PvP in space, along with derelict ships, space patrols, and escort missions where you escort cargo craft from planet to planet. And I think that they need some kind of reward line according to that. Like, I think they need to have the planets go to war. And in all honesty, loyalties and stuff like that and allegiances should switch. So, like, whoever is running the planets should be able to negotiate or get treaties and truces in place and stuff like that. And so there should be more of a dynamic. Let's have a space war. You know what I mean? Let's have a space war, guys. That's what I would say. Okay, Entropia Universe offers a wide variety of opportunities for users with market instincts, which that's true, and in entrepreneurial spirit to create value for themselves and others. Entropia is currently the only online world with a functional monetary system that is not linked to a blockchain. The digital real cash economy, RCE, is based on the fact that raw materials, goods, land, and buildings are represented as digital assets, all of which have a calculated base value. Beyond the base value, the free market can set. See, but the thing is, it's not really a free market. This is something that bugs me. Can I just be honest? You all know that you went up to things and scanned them, and you find out that inherent Marxist or the amount of properties that are owned and artificially kept off the market is too high. Like, in all honesty, some of the stuff bugs me. Like, the realty market in Entropia Universe is super subjectively real world. Like, it's real world ish, but it's obvious that it's being manipulated by certain factors that literally are holding many of the deeds off the market. Because if all of the open deeds were put onto the market, it would substantially decrease the overall value of the properties. And I don't know how many people own the majority of the stuff, but it's not very many people that own the majority of the properties that are being withheld off the market. And that does bug me. I don't like that. The Entropia Universe in-game currency, the PED, or Project Entropia Dollar, has a fixed exchange, a strong and important trust capital over more than 20 years in full operation. That I agree with. The software is provided globally and free of charge, with the possibility to spend money in universe for anyone with access to a PC and the internet. So none of that I'm going to argue. Like, in all honesty, this I think everybody that plays the game already knows. The issue with the properties bugs the crap out of me. I think we understand the revenue model. If you guys want to read through the revenue model more, they take a piece of all the transactions that happen within the game. I think we all know that. I like how they put the quote of so-called free-to-play game. I've known people that have played for free for years without spending any money and have done great. I know the majority of people that start playing the game and think they're going to make a bunch of money without spending any money are wrong, and they end up actually spending money. Let's see where we want to start reading. They generate money off of deed sales. We already know that. I feel this revenue model everybody understands, right? Nobody's confused about their revenue model is that they earn money off of your activity in the game and the activity of transactions within the game. If you do want to read, oh, hold on, let me read this. I apologize. Oh, yeah, no, that's the other thing. No, you can't watch somebody else's video and assume that you're going to do as well as them at all. And honestly, there's people that have videos that they've got murdered on too. I've played, and sometimes I'm killing it, and sometimes It's like a bad relationship with a mean girlfriend who, like, one day is nice to you and one day is not so nice. I mean, like, I'm going to just be honest. You can't predict. It's random. Like, you have to. But the thing is, what's not random is people that are literally just trading in the economy and stuff like that. That's legitimately like, if you just know the market and have a bunch of Excel files and know the relative value of stuff, and you only buy stuff when it's 20 to 30% under value, and then you immediately resell it at peak times, you're going to make money regardless of how you play. And there are some people, a lot of, oh, I get, since you can predict it. So, So I don't know what to tell you there. If you can predict how it's going to go all the time, you can predict it. Time and risk, I think so. Time and risk has a lot to do with it. And in all honesty, I tell everybody, you guys, right off the bat, if you're playing a video game to make money and you're not having fun, I don't know what to tell you. Like, play the game because you like the game, because you're having fun. And if you make money while you're doing that, that's awesome. But I can tell you that there's people that buy stuff at the end of events for cheap. They under market bid all the stuff. And then as soon as there's another event going on again, they put the stuff back on the market and they make money. So, like, it really is a mixed bag of how you're going to play. And in all honesty, if you don't like playing the game and you're only playing because you're trying to make money, that has to be miserable. And I'm just being truthful to you guys. Okay, the message from the CEO. And I know I just saw that some of you like him, some of you don't. In the second quarter of 2024, MindArk has performed a clear improvement compared to the previous quarter. Can I be honest? I did the review of the last quarter, and their last quarter was not impressive at all, and I would have said negative things. Net sales amounted to 26.8 million SEK, so that's 2.68 million, and which is not horrible, which corresponds to an increase of almost 30%. That's impressive. A 30% increase in sales is awesome. Operating profit before depreciation, adjusted for capitalization work, amounted to 4.9 million SEK, or $490,000, an increase of 4.6 million, which that would be true because they sucked in quarter one. Compared to the same period last year, Q2 of 2023, sales have increased by approximately 2%. After a challenging April, which followed the trend from quarter one with reduced consumption. So maybe quarter one just sucks, you guys. Let's just be honest. We experienced a strong upswing. Both May and June, operating profits have improved significantly compared to quarter two, 2023. Even when excluding one-off costs, which I don't know what all they consider one-off costs, of 14 million SEK that affected the second quarter last year, adjusted for these costs and for capitalized work, EBITDA has increased by over 6 million SEK. So $600,000 more than the other year. That's pretty good. Oh, you think it's a downfall after Q1 is after Mayhem season is over? That could be. Honestly, that could be. And maybe they need to rotate more events onto more planets to where there's something going on constantly on some planet. And just to be honest, like, honestly, they need more activities, guys. More activities need to be developed. And that's a lot of work, I get it. MindArk has progressed with the work to deepen the AI integration across the organization, and we are proud to have reached several significant milestones during this period. not least the launch of AI-driven NPCs, non-player characters. I think everybody knew what that was. And in the near future, our groundbreaking AI president, Celeste AI. I don't know anything about Celeste AI. I'm going to be honest. No idea. In summary, we have ended the quarter with a growth curve and improved profitability. We continue to make great progress in the AI integration, both with Entropia Universe and within MindArk's business. Finally, the integration of Unreal 5 as a new graphic engine continues, which we expect will future-proof Entropia Universe and greatly enhance the game experience. They need a freaking date. We need to have an open conversation about this, you guys. Let me see. No, I get you. The deed payouts do bug me. I don't understand what's going on there. The disconnection between profits and deed payouts is interesting, but I don't know enough to tell you anything about that. You see what I mean? The quarter Q1, I get you. Yeah, the deed payouts are their own thing. I don't know what to say about it. Do we want to read this technical development of Entropia Universe section? This seems boring as crap, just to be honest. It's more of during the quarter, MindArk introduced AI-powered NPCs. I think we got that. Let's see if there's anything interesting in here. The development team has made significant progress in the transition to Unreal Engine 5. We need dates or something more. Like, significant progress is vague. You guys agree that we're not getting... I want something that I can use to understand what's going on. Significant progress isn't like, what am I going to do with that? Like, is that we're 5 months away, we're a year away, we're 5 years away? The focus has been on optimizing client-server communication, particularly concerning players and monster movement. I don't know if that's, I guess that's important. We are working on transferring and adapting our game world to fully leverage Unreal 5 performance and graphic capabilities. These changes are being implemented step by step to ensure a smooth integration without compromising the game's stability over experience. Can I be honest? I want to see more of the frickin' blueprints actually be applicable again. I feel that they've actually, if you're a crafter, I think that they've actually narrowed the amount of crafting that's done comparably. And in all honesty, I would like to see more diversity in crafting. Like, the crafting diversity is lacking, guys. It's lacking. Summer Mayhem event is back in a new format which challenges the player in a gauntlet-style level running to unlock levels of difficulty and reward. The Summer Mayhem runs alongside the annual Summer Migration event, which also has received new cool loot. So I like the new loot stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's cool-ish. I mean... honestly, none of this is super exciting. I think we can move past that section. This is an example of the textures, before after type stuff. I mean, that is kind of good. At least that looks good. The armor textures and the armor designs, those are nice armor designs. I like the after on that. That's literally not what any of us really care. You prefer less ULs? I think that that's a good idea too. So now we're in the financial overview, guys. This is where we get into the grit. Net sales, look at this, 4 through 6. So this is the current one. Okay, so we have net sales of 26,800. I believe that this is still in SEK. Yeah, in 1,000 SEK. So these are in K-SECs. So we'd have to actually move this over several decimal points, 3 decimal points. So we had really, in all honesty, 26,800,000 KSECs. The capitalized work, 5,021 KSECs. And other income, which I don't know what that includes in all honesty, is 162 KSECs. The total income was 31,983 KSECs. So 31 million in all honesty. That'd be 31 million. That's pretty impressive. So about 3 million in total. That's not horrible. External costs, they had a bunch of operating expenses. The total operating expenses was 26,550 KSECs. The whole operating profit, which is important, this is where it does change. Now, I get you. I'll look at this in a second and check it out. So, see how we lost our butt, or they lost their butt here, lost their butt here a little bit, made some money here, made some money here. We're at least at 5,433 operating profit in KSECs. That's a good deal of stuff. Financial items, let's see, profit from other securities, they don't have any. So other interest incomes and similar items. So I don't know what they're receiving interest from. That's a question somebody would have to look into, or have some kind of access to better information to know what they're receiving interest. The exchange rate difference. This is fascinating. So see how they lost money on exchange rate almost all the time? This is the first time that they had a positive exchange rate that I can think of. Like, the exchange rate, in all honesty, is usually against them. Their total financial items ended up them in a positive from the financial items, in which normally it eats away at their profits. Let's go down here. Profit after financial items was brought up to 5,694 KSECs. Profit before taxes, 5,694, which we already kind of knew that. Income taxes that they faced was 739 KSECs, leaving them with a net profit of 4,955 KSECs. So that's absolutely reasonable. Let's go to their balance sheets. Resellers do hoard a lot of things. Now, that's what I'm issuing with the real estate market. The amount of real estate being held off the market is too much. It's absolutely unacceptable. So let's look at this. This is also in KSECs. Intangible assets. Entropia platform. Honestly, it's more valuable than it was before. Entropia Universe. Other intangible assets. They have more intangible assets. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what they're considering their other intangible assets, so that's like impossible for me to tell you. Here, we know what this is. Equipment and computer hardware. They've bought more equipment. They have more computer hardware than they had before. That increased. Their total financial assets is the exact same. So I don't know. I mean, I can't tell you what that is. Their current assets, stock in trade, and commercial goods. Their commercial goods went down slightly. Their stock in trade, etc., which would be those commercial goods, is right here. It went down slightly. I mean, not a big deal. That doesn't really mean a crap, because that's not the center of their value anyway. Their accounts receivable went down slightly. So they must have collected on some accounts receivable, or, can I be honest, they could have wrote them off. And in all honesty, I don't know if they wrote off delinquent accounts or anything, because this isn't gone into well enough to tell you if they collected on it or if they wrote them off. They're receivables from payments providers. So it looks like they have slightly less in their receivables account. This is a positive asset. So either they have collected on those or something. I don't know which one. Let's just hope they collected on them. They turned it into cash. Current tax assets, they have 1,274 KSECs more than they had before. I can't tell you enough about what that is. Their other receivables has went down significantly. They had 3,192 KSECs, and they're down to 478 in other receivables. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what receivables they're operating with. I literally hope that the receivables went down because they collected on them. That's what we want. They will, like, if these receivables dropped because they've actually took possession of them, that's a good thing. If those receivables drop because they've wrote them off as delinquent or bad debt, that's not good. I mean, I guess it's good because they're wrote off, right? And we can move forward into the future. Prepaid expenses and accrued income. That has went down slightly from the 2,901 to the 2,775. That could be anything from they have short-term prepaid electric bill. That could be rent. This could be any prepaid expense that might occur or be burnt out within the year. It's hard to know what kind of stuff that is because that can encompass a variety of things. If they just prepaid their electric bill for the year and then that accrued out, that can decrease it. And so without knowing what their prepaid expenses are, it doesn't really tell you a lot. So their total short-term and short-term stuff is the stuff that will occur within the year, has dropped from 8,646 to 7,006. In all honesty, that's not a big deal because we're not wanting them to be focused on... You want them to be doing well in their short-term assets, but short-term assets are used and burned up in activity of operating. And so a change from quarter one to quarter two is not, it doesn't tell you anything really. I mean, it tells you some stuff, but not to a depth that you're going to care. Does that make sense? Their total assets. Now, this is important because this is total short-term investments, other short-term investments, and cash and bank balances. Now, here's the deal. Their cash and bank balances has went down from 27,030 to 22,817. I'm going to be honest, that's not shocking. They're operating. They did have a profit. They're putting out a lot of money, I would assume, to develop the Unreal Engine 5. Who knows why they spent money, but their bank balance and cash on hand has gone down. You're going to make your own MMO? You know what? If you do knock out your own online MMO, that's awesome. I feel that that's a lot of work, just to be honest. Here's where we're going to find out where the money went. This is the consolidated statement of cash flow, and that'll tell us what happened. So the total assets right here is up, though. You see this, guys? Total assets. We're now setting, this is where they bought the computers. This is totally where we bought the computers, guys, because they have less cash on hand, guys. But here we went from 151,254 to 153,567 KSEC. And so total asset-wise, they actually are setting stronger with less cash on hand. And in all honesty, if the cash can make you money and you're leaving it in a bank, That's a bad choice. You'd rather see cash being deployed. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be sitting there like if they were sitting there telling us they were trying to get all this stuff done, but yet we kept seeing more and more money building up in their bank account instead of being deployed out to actually do something. Don't you guys feel that that would be a concern to you? Yeah, I think so too. So here, these are the equities and liabilities. This is equity, shares of capital. That didn't change. Other contributions. No other contributions came in or were paid out. Other profits of the period. That didn't change. So let's just be honest. The equity attributed to owners of the planets did change, though. So maybe somebody didn't take their equity draw, is what I would almost wonder. Because here's what that it's went up. We went from 87 and 12 KSEC to 89 671. I don't know why more equity is now attributed to the owners of the planets. Do you guys think that that could be with the Rocktopia situation, maybe? I don't know why this is. Somebody either didn't take their equity draw and they re-rolled their equity into more equity, or somebody was awarded equity in this because we have no change in share capital and we have no additional contributions. But yet we have more equity. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to be honest. Honestly, the resistance for mobs and them doing that is not a bad idea, you guys. The I'm going to be honest. This part's boring through here, and it's accounts payable and stuff like this. This is just their liabilities. Their liabilities for accounts payable went slightly up. Their long-term liabilities and other liabilities went slightly up, but by a pissant amount, so nobody really cares about that. Um, Non-controlled interest, I'm going to be honest, that did go slightly up too. See, this is equity attributed to owners of the parent. So somebody had to have not took money. Like, we have a gain in equity for sure. And so somebody somewhere has acquired more equity. And it wasn't through other contributions and it wasn't through share capital. So I don't know what happened, but in all honesty, somebody out there now has a greater share of equity. And this is the total equity and liabilities. We already know somebody has more equity. And we already know that the liabilities, where was the total liabilities? Total long-term liabilities didn't change by much, but we know that the total equity and liabilities has changed. And so, and total short-term liabilities actually went down, you guys. So they paid in. So this is fascinating. So somebody owns more equity, for sure. One of the principals owns more equity in some capacity. And I don't know why. Let's just be honest. Yeah, it is. It's kind of like that. So, like, if there's a distribution of cash in equity to the shares or to owner's share, and say I don't take my distribution and it rolls over into equity, I can gain equity that way. There's tons of ways that you can gain equity in a company, you guys. So, like, in all honesty, like, let's not, well, we won't obsess about that. But somebody out there increased their equity. specifically, and by a good amount of dollars. I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I mean, like, it could be anything. It could be something to do with the whole Rocktopia situation, too, for all I know. So, operating profits before financial items. This is the breakdown of it. The total at the bottom is 3,464 SEK. You can see that they had an operating profit that was in the negative beforehand. And so, in all honesty, we're looking good here. The interest received is a little bit higher. I don't know why the interest received is higher. I don't know what's going on with that, just to be honest. Let's look. Cash flows from operating activity, and this is important. This is they spent money from operating activity. And so out of their operating activity, they're spending less money. They have obviously went from spending a crap load to 7,880 SEK or KSEKs to 2,109 KSEKs. That's a good thing, you know what I mean? The purchase of intangible assets, they didn't purchase it. This is where a lot of it's happening, guys. Purchase of equipment. You guys see how they bought twice as much equipment as they've done before. So that's a super big increase in actual equipment. That'll affect them in many ways, though, because all equipment that you buy has depreciation with it. And so this will actually show up from now on in a small part in depreciation of equipment. Now, I noticed that their financials don't break everything down as much as some companies do, which isn't a big deal. But in all honesty, anytime you buy a bunch of equipment, especially computers, you end up having depreciation from it. And so that's something that we'll see coming out of that money over the next while. Cash flows from investment activity. I don't know what investment activity they do. I don't know what percentage they're earning off their investment activity. They have a negative cash flow from investment activity. That, in my mind, shows that they put out money in some kind of investment. I don't know what that would be. I mean, maybe, because they shouldn't have a negative cash flow from investment activity if they realized it by sale of stock purchase or anything else. Maybe this is the purchase of... I wish they had a sub-note here, guys. This could be, for all I know, the purchase of Rocktopia. You know what I mean? I don't know what they considered the cash flow from investment activity. Cash flow for the period, they spent 5,117 KSEK. That's a whole bunch. We know that their bank balance, we already saw the bank balance in previous statements, 22,817 KSEK. And so that's not a big deal. We're pretty good there. So we've got the total income. Let's just skip down through this. Total income was 31,983 KSEK. Operating profit was 5,433 KSEK, which is a turnaround from the previous one of negative 11,708. They had a net profit, which is impressive as crap for them, right? In all honesty, I didn't see a breakdown specific of R&D cost or marketing cost, and it bugs me. I would like to see a breakdown of marketing and R&D. Like, I believe that they're not marketing enough, and I'll talk to you guys about what I think about that, and some of you will disagree probably, some of you will be like blah, blah, but in all honesty, I believe that they need to bring on a couple of staff members that are just full-time streamers of the game, doing full-time events for the game. And I'll discuss who I think they should hire. I'd like to pretend I think they should hire me. They can hire me to consult. I would love that. But in all honesty, as a streamer, I'm not going to bring them in the amount of people that they need brought in or the right people. And I will discuss who I think they should hire. So in net profits, they ended up with 4,955 KSEC. That's super sweet, actually, because as you can tell, they don't normally profit that well. And way back here in the Wayback Machine, we could say that during like their 20th year anniversary, they did really well. So the anniversary stuff did well. I don't really care to go through the balance sheets for the parent company. I don't actually care that much about their balance sheets. I more or less care about the profit statements for stuff. We can tell that the parent company has no difference in profits than Entropia Universe itself anyway. And so these become redundant because they don't, they're no longer running their subsidiary. What may be illegal? Tell me would you go into what you think might be illegal? Oh, so no, because they need to reinvigorate it now, and they need to actually have somebody with built up stuff. I don't know. Let me check real quick. No, it's not illegal. In fact, it's common practice in the gaming. You have to disclose it. You have to have contract. So they could do it. So it would have to be disclosed. Oh, I get what you're saying. So I'm pretty sure that the gambling sites. Oh, so see, now there are additional restrictions. So they could do it. They'd have to put their legal team on it. Yes, gambling sites, which are also real cash, do it through sponsorship, affiliate programs, and incentives. So it could be done. So here's the deal. They'd have to disclose it. I get what you're saying, and in all honesty, they'd want to have their lawyer look at it. And I'm going to just be honest, they'd want to have a lawyer look at it. I'm not a lawyer. ChatGPT is really good, but in all honesty, they better have an actual lawyer go over it. I believe they could get away with it. I believe they have to disclose that they're a paid creator. And I think that they would have to be honest about the situation, but I don't think that matters, just to be honest, you guys. I think that they could do it. Now, should they, if they do want to do that, should they have a lawyer look over it, make sure they're on the up and up everywhere? Yeah, I would probably say so. So let's read this financial overview. All users in Entropia Universe have an in-game account with a cash in the form of virtual in-game currency PED or digital items are placed. The sum of these cash funds and digital items is user unconsumed user holdings. Unconsumed user holdings have somewhat decreased during the second quarter from 141.7 million ped to 140.5 million ped, a decrease of 1.2 million ped. The total amount decreased slightly more in SEK as the SEK/US dollar exchange rate has increased from 10.66 SEK over a dollar at the end of March 2024 to 10.61 SEK over dollar at the end of June 2024. 10 ped equals $1. This results in a decrease of 2 million in SEK from 151 million SEK to 149 million SEK. As of June 30th, 2024, the total liabilities of unconsumed user holdings amounted to 140.5 million ped. Under the new policy for calculating allocation for unconsumed user holdings, which was communicated in year-end report for 2024 or 2023, the 5-year average withdrawal rate is 22.8% compared to 23.6% in quarter 1 of 2024. Based on this, the company estimates the real debt at the end of June 2024 to be 32 million ped, which is equivalent to 34 million SEK. It's kind of interesting. The ped is more close in the accurate value of a SEK than anything. I like that. The rest of this is pretty boring stuff. It's operations during, the quarters and stuff like that. We've already read through the overall stuff. Let's read this part. The investment for parent companies and groups, the capitalization and the balance sheet of salaries and consultancy costs for the development Entropia Universe for the first quarter amounts to 5 million SEK or 7.6 million SEK. I guess that would be adjusted. The capitalization, in the previous year, amounts are reported under the heading of fixed assets in the balance sheets and total revenue in the income statements. Other investments during the quarter of 1.6 million SEK compared to 396 T SEK, which I don't know what that is. I can't picture it being trillion. I'm not 1,000 SEK. It's probably 1,000 SEK. Are related to investments in mainly computers and servers. See, this investments in computers and servers, I'm completely convinced, is based on the idea that they're going to switch over to Unreal 5. And I hope that they're going to do it fast. So this is more MindArk currency exposure. I think we all know that because they're exposed to exchange rates will impact them. That's not something we really care about. Equity in the parent company. Let's see this just in case there's something interesting. At the extraordinary general meeting on November 15th of 2001, the meeting resolved on directed new issues of a maximum of 7,881. So this is the issued of warrant series and stocks that they issued out. The company's employees as an incentive program. In the event of the full exercise of the options to subscribe for new shares, the share capital will be increased to 78,811.56 SEK, and the dilution of existing shares and votes will be 4.8%. The options expire in 2025 and the exercise price is 15 SEK per share. I don't believe that they're anywhere near that. The company has no other outstanding options programs or securities. So these aren't good options. Let me double check this, but I'm pretty sure their share price puts us where that's not something you would pull a trigger on. Yeah, that's not good options, guys. Those options will expire out. Like they're not going to get above 15 sec per share by 2025. And so, in all honesty, whoever's holding, if your options expire out, they just go poof. Yes, you technically, since they were gave us an incentive thing, they, their incentive will vaporize, is what I would call it. So if they became triggerable to where they hit $16 a share, if you then clicked your options, you would make a bunch of money, right? But these options, they're going to expire out. And so maybe they're trying to sell the options, because you can sell options, but they can't trigger these options. These options are worthless. I trade options, and I'm going to just be honest. If you screw up and you buy an option at a price that it's not going to hit, you basically sit there and you watch your option vaporize. That's what's going to happen to them. Those options they might as well, they're basically, those are worthless. Yeah, I bought options on the wrong side before, you guys. I've thought a price was going to go to a certain price, and then I didn't trigger it when I had the option because I was greedy, and then the price dropped below the option strike point. It's below strike is what it is. Those options are worth crap. Nobody's gonna buy a 15 sec option when you're setting at 2 sec. You could just buy the real stock. You see what I mean? So if it was setting at $16, $17, the value of the options would be several dollars per share, because it would be worth it. Like, it'd actually be you would gain money from buying the option, and you could then invoke the options and trigger them. But those options, those are worthless. It's a huge mismatch. Like, so honestly, yeah, that's a tragedy. I don't know what to tell everybody on that. Those people should be upset. So here's what I was going to tell you guys also bugs me. This is one of the only things that really pisses me off, is that when we come down here, right, here's the shares and shareholders. This Tatrina Karununa, who I'm murdering her name and I'm not trying, but this is a person, this Tatrina Karuna, and she owns 34.89% of the shares and has a 34.89% of the vote. So she is absolutely dominate this company. I really think it would be healthy for them to get her to sell half her shares onto the market. And I get that sounds like a unreasonable thing. I don't know who Bathem is at all. They own 18.86%. That's a lot. I actually don't like the percentages being held. This right here, guys. What are we at? We're at over 50% of the vote. So if these two get together, they literally have the ability to decide the entirety of the company. Like, the rest of everybody else doesn't even matter, right? These two people together own 52 point something percent of the company. That means they own the company without owning the company. They can vote any way they want. They can replace anybody they want. And it's two people. That I don't agree with. It bugs me. I would like to see these people sell off. I know I don't have a vote in that. I can't be like, Tatrina, yo, you should sell down to 10%. But the fact that two people own over 52% of a company and have 52% of the vote, I don't agree with. I absolutely bugs the crap out of me. I, in all honesty, would like to see them dilute themselves. And that's just me. Now this like these guys like Nordic Holdings and Future Pensions, they only own these small percentages. This is good. This is healthy. This kind of crap where you have multiple actual companies that are invested that would be doing it. I like that. This is Lars. This Lars guy, I think he's one of the staff members. I think he's an executive. He only owns 1 point something percent. That's healthy. This is good. This is what we like to see. This up here, nobody should want to see this. This is bad. Two entities, they probably are founders. I don't know them. I honestly don't know who these people are. But I don't think Katrina needs to own 34.89% of the company and have 34.8. Like legitimately, this is too much control in two people's hands. It is what it is, though. I mean, that's what's going on. I think that they should go to these people and offer to buy them out, put the money in. They could buy them out, pull the shares, and put them in treasury stocks. They also could just reissue them onto the actual market. But in all honesty, some negotiation should happen here to split this up. Like if these two both owned 9%, I would like it better. I don't like that. That's not anything big unless they're making bad decisions, right? And then after that, yeah, so Leaf is a board member and acting CEO. And Klaus is a board member. So let's see. We've got Klaus. Oh, I thought Klaus was on here. So we've got Lars owning 1.26%, and he's on the board. Oh, and I think... No, yeah, the motherships and crap like that is nothing compared to Trina here owns the game. I mean, pretty much. These people all have to be like, I disagree with you as a whole to, like, everybody has to disagree with it to Trina for her to not get her way. And so, more or less, I think that she has way too much power. And these two together, that's way crazy. No, this is of MindArk. It's MindArk as a whole. And so this is just she owns the game. Like, for the most part, she owns the game, guys. Like, she has the majority of the votes and the majority of the registered shares. By far. Oh. Yeah, and I can't speak to that. This just shows it as MindArk as a whole. And so I can't I don't know anything beyond what they go into. I don't know if this is the supermodel. Let's check. Unexpected database error. I feel that they I don't know what to tell you guys. They didn't give us it. MindArk. Let's see if we can get this spotlight. We have two different spotlights on her. The largest owner of MindArk. Let's pull this one. And this one. This is just a copy of the exact kind of crap we just read. I don't know who produced this one though, so I don't know who this is done by. Kelquill, I don't know them. I'll link this here too so you guys can check this out just in case. Hold on one second. Anytime I'm looking at somebody's report that I don't know, we have to take it with a grain of salt. Let me check this too, make sure we didn't get kicked out of here. Move myself around. I don't want to get kicked out. We'll look at the statistics of my run too, just so you guys know in a second. This looks like a good report though. I'm going to be honest. This looks well done. Here's the board of directors. We already knew that. And that, yep, to Trina. The Botham family. She owns $3.6 million of the company, guys. That she's seriously an investor. Let's see if this gives better. It's not actually giving us information on her. I don't know if this was the Ukrainian supermodel or not. I honestly don't know, guys. Well, I'm just being honest. I don't know if this is still the same girl as the Ukrainian. Oh, you know what we can do? We can Google it as model, right? We can put her name in. The new owner of MindArk. I think you guys might be right. So they removed that stuff. I kind of think it's this girl, but I don't know. Do we want to visit this? Do we dare visit this? I don't know if this is the right person. I don't. It could be, you guys. I don't want to say. I know at one point when we looked up the stuff, we did find out that the owner, the person was a model. But at this point, it looks like most of the stuff that we looked up last time isn't there. And so... Oh, this is what we found last time. We did find her picture and everything last time. So there's a database error on all the information connected to her, guys. And so it looks like they've removed the info on her. But at one point, we were able to find all this stuff. Remember? So no, this was the model. This was the girl that did own it. This Petrina. Wait, they had the same last name. Or I'm going to tell you, I don't know what's going on here. This is Petrina, and then when we're looking at Petrina... What kind of rabbit hole are we getting into, guys? Okay. I don't know what's going on. Let's not go down too much of a stalky rabbit hole of trying to figure that out. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to click it to lock on to my thing. We'll go over the game, what happened on my run, and then we'll go over the other stuff, right? So I did 1,000 clicky clicks, which cost 20 ped. Y'all know that. I had a 42.6% thing on it. That's not bad. I made 20.1. So I had a small positive return, obviously, right? And that's not bad. I would consider a small positive return good, just to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, I'm going to pull up another thing, and I'll explain what I think they should do. Let me think of what it's called. Oh. Pulling this stuff up really quick off of camera so I don't expose people's stuff. I try to keep everybody's stuff private, just to be honest. Okay. So, we're going to go over who they should hire and why, and then what they should put money in to, right? We're going to go over who they should hire. Let me click that down so it's not making money or noise. Okay. Let me click it back to where you guys can see what I'm seeing, and I will explain why.
This summer is the perfect time to get away.
Boom. Okay. So here's what I'm going to tell you guys. That you need more players in, and we know the majority of the players are boys and guys, basically. And there are some girls that play. I do believe that they need to sponsor 2 streamers, and I'm going to say this politely. I believe that Bonnie EU, I don't know how old she is, but I believe that she has a good demographic overlap in the probably 30 to 60 range, to where people that are in the right age groups do watch her. She has pretty good following and stuff like that. I don't believe she's developed her off other social media as much as she should. She needs to pull this up. But she does post Entropia Universe type stuff all the time. I think that she actually would be a great person to hire as a actual full-time streamer to stream the game. She doesn't stream enough to bring in the amount of views that they need to bring in. So she is very pretty, and she does have she's just pleasant, which is helpful, right? So reality-wise, she's a good person, but she's not going to bring in the younger demographic stuff, right? So I believe that they need to find a girl that's kind of like Bonnie EU, that's in that probably 18 to 24 zone. She is, I get you, she's semi-retired, but I feel that if she was being paid, she would actually stream more. You know what I mean? Oh, no, I get it's hard to average a high amount of streamers on Entropia Universe. But the thing is, she is more likely... Who's Billy? I don't know who Billy was. If I knew who Billy was, I would check out their stuff, and maybe that's a good option. But reality-wise, they need a younger Bonnie and a Bonnie. Like, it could be her or it could be someone else, to be able to... Well, I don't know who Billy is. Oh, Billy Bunker. Oh. Well, I don't know enough about what's going on there. I hope that they're not really gone. But good info. I actually think that they should incentivize her to stream more, and I think they need to find a younger version of her also that's going to get in the younger people, just to be honest. Just and she's super attractive, but the reality is she's more likely to bring in the demographics that are well, in their 30s and up. And in all honesty, you need younger players. We need younger players. I didn't call her old. I did not call her old. I don't believe Bonnie is young, like young in the 20 zone. I think that I don't know how old she is. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. But I think that she brings in, she's not bringing in 20-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like, and honestly, games need young players to do well. That's just the reality. Is if you're a game and you have more young players, you're more popular. And so, and in all honesty, young players are the future of every game. You know what I'm saying? I know, I'm probably going to get told some stuff now. I don't know. I probably did put my foot in it, just so you guys know. Yes, any players are good news. 100%. But I think this game has a very good following right now of the 30, 40, 50, and 60-year-olds already. I think that that's actually where they're doing okay. And so, yes, having somebody that builds those players up is good. And in all honesty, she knows the game well and she's played the game for years. So I think she's an absolutely great choice as a ambassador or whatever you want to call it. But reality-wise, if they could find a girl that was more social media active and in that 22, 24-year-old range that was going to make it more of a game that was popular with the 18, 20 years. Because let's just be honest, an 18 to 22-year-old or 24-year-old attracts players of all the way up to their 40s, as weird as that is. And a 30-year-old will attract players in the 30s, maybe the upper 20s, in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, but you're not getting those hey young people in the same. That's it. On top of that, guys, let's just be honest. They need to make space better. Space needs to be better. There needs to be more interactive missions that go from planet to planet and stuff like that. That would be super important. And I feel I put my foot in it enough for the day, just to be honest. I'm going to click the button so we can see what's going on real quick. I'm going to go over here to this. We'll go into our thing. I'm going to find somebody we can raid over to, because I think that's important to raid over to somebody. And we'll find somebody and we'll raid them up. That's Entropia Universe. And I'll throw a dice or you guys can pick somebody. Either way, I'm cool with it. Okay, do we want to throw a dice or do we want to pick somebody? Okay, so I'm going to throw a dice. Oh, a 20-sided dice is a little bit more than I need. A 10-sided dice is good. Okay, we got number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't count. 6, 7. Fatty's always a good guy. I like him. He's pleasant. He likes life. He seems like he likes life a lot. Liking life's important, guys. Okay, we're going to be raiding over in just a few seconds. I'd love it if you guys were nice to this guy. He's a great guy, super friendly. I hope you all have an amazing week or start to the week. Peace and very best wishes.